In May 2025, FC Barcelona plans to return to their iconic home. But why are they already 2 years behind schedule? Why has a renovation that should have been completed in 2023 turned into an endless construction saga that keeps fans wondering, will they ever come home? A club drowning in 1.6 billion euros of debt, pouring another billion into concrete and steel. Star players forced to take pay cuts, while cranes devour the club's budget. A stadium that once housed football's most elegant team now stands as a half-finished monument to financial mismanagement. Why did Barcelona tear down Europe's largest stadium when they couldn't afford to rebuild it? And most critically, is this the bold vision that will save FC Barcelona, or the final mistake that will plunge this iconic institution into financial oblivion? Today, we dive into football's most controversial project, the new Camp Nou, a story of soaring ambition and harsh reality, where tradition fights modernization, and one of football's greatest clubs risks everything on a dream that's slipping away. Camp Nou has been Barcelona's home since 1957, with its original capacity of over 106,000, later expanded to almost 121,000 for the 1982 World Cup. It established itself as a cathedral of football. But by 2014, the concrete giant was crumbling. Cracks scarred its aging structure, rain leaked through the stands, and outdated facilities embarrassed a club claiming to be football's pinnacle. While rivals like Real Madrid modernized, Camp Nou remained stuck in the past. The timing couldn't have been worse. Barcelona's financial management had spiraled into chaos. Years of astronomical transfer fees, bloated player salaries, and mismanagement by the Josep Maria Bartomeu presidency had created a perfect financial storm. By 2020, the club's debt had ballooned to a staggering 1.6 billion euros. The financial crisis became so severe that in August 2021, the unthinkable happened. Lionel Messi, Barcelona's greatest player and global icon, was forced to leave because the club simply couldn't afford his salary while staying within La Liga's financial regulations. "I offered to reduce my salary by 50%, but it wasn't enough," Messi revealed in his tearful farewell press conference. Equally shocking was the revelation in February 2022 that the club had paid a consulting firm linked to the then president of the Spanish Referees Committee approximately 7 million euros over nearly 2 decades, triggering a corruption investigation called Caso Negreira that continues to haunt the club. In this maelstrom of financial crisis and scandal, Barcelona made a decision that stunned football observers. They would double down by borrowing another billion euros to renovate Camp Nou. Critics called it financial suicide. Club officials described it as the only path to salvation. The decision to renovate rather than build an entirely new stadium had been made in January 2014 when Bartomeu's board rejected the new venue option due to financial constraints. But what started as a pragmatic choice soon evolved into an all-or-nothing gamble on the club's future. Meanwhile, on the pitch, the team's performance plummeted. In 2021, Barcelona finished third in La Liga, their worst position since 2008. The following year, they endured the humiliation of falling into the Europa League, a shocking decline for a club built on excellence. Critics compared the Camp Nou renovation to Spain's infamous White Elephant projects, grand ambitions that became financial disasters, while others see it as Barcelona's last desperate gamble to save their future. In April 2016, Barcelona unveiled their vision for the new Camp Nou. After an international competition, Japanese firm Nikken Sekai was selected to lead the ambitious project. The most striking feature of the new design is the stadium's capacity. At 105,000 seats, it will reclaim its position as Europe's largest football stadium and become the third largest football venue in the world, behind only India's Narendra Modi Stadium and North Korea's Run Grotto 1st of May Stadium. Unlike the original Camp Nou, the new stadium will feature a complete roof covering all seating areas, composed of lightweight, transparent ETFE panels. This innovative material will protect fans from the elements while allowing natural light to flood the pitch, eliminating shadows and improving the viewing experience. Perhaps the most revolutionary feature will be a 360-degree digital screen wrapped around the arena's roof, displaying replays, match statistics, and other information. This immersive technology aims to transform the spectator experience, providing fans with unprecedented access to information and entertainment. The new Camp Nou will also feature significantly upgraded VIP and hospitality areas, allowing Barcelona to generate the premium matchday revenue that modern elite clubs depend on. These luxury spaces will include high-end restaurants, exclusive lounges, and premium seating options. For the players, ultra-modern dressing rooms and player tunnels will replace the comparatively basic facilities of the old stadium, bringing Barcelona in line with the world's most advanced sporting venues. The renovation is not limited to the stadium itself. It's part of a broader project called FC Barcelona, which includes improvements to the entire campus, including a new Palau Blaugrana arena for Barcelona's basketball and other indoor sports teams with a capacity of 15,000. Environmental sustainability is a key focus of the design, with solar panels on the roof generating renewable energy to power the stadium and an improved rainwater collection system to reduce waste. When Barcelona first announced plans to renovate Camp Nou, they estimated completion by 2021 at a cost of around 600 million euros. Today, the project is years behind schedule, with costs spiraling to over 1.6 billion euros, fueling intense criticism and controversy. The troubled timeline began optimistically. In 2014, Barcelona announced their decision to renovate rather than rebuild. By 2015, they had revealed detailed plans for the 105,000-seat stadium with its distinctive canopy roof. Construction was initially scheduled to begin in 2019, but the timeline began to slip almost immediately. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, which devastated Barcelona's finances. With matches played behind closed doors, matchday revenue vanished overnight. This financial shock, combined with the club's already precarious financial position, forced a rethinking of the renovation timeline. Despite these challenges, Barcelona finally bid farewell to the old Camp Nou in June 2023, defeating Mallorca 3-0 in their final match before temporarily relocating to the Estadi Olympic Louis Companies, commonly known as Montjuic, a stadium with less than half of Camp Nou's capacity. The initial plan called for Barcelona to return to a partially renovated Camp Nou by late 2024, but this timeline proved impossible. Construction delays mounted due to supply chain disruptions, rising material costs, bureaucratic obstacles, and the club's ongoing financial struggles. By March 2025, rumors of further delays were circulating in Spanish media. Reports suggested that service providers had been notified that normal operations at Camp Nou wouldn't resume until November 2025, months later than previously announced. Barcelona quickly countered these reports by releasing photographs showing construction progress, including the installation of 39,000 seats and the completed heating and cooling systems for the pitch. However, significant work remains. The stadium's third tier still needs to be built from scratch, and the much-anticipated roof won't be completed until 2026. The delays and ballooning costs have led to intense criticism from members, fans, and the media. Former President Josep Maria Bartomeu, who initially championed the project, has been accused of grossly underestimating costs and complexity. Current President Joan Laporta has faced similar criticism for continuing with such an expensive project while the club struggles financially. Some argue Barcelona should have opted for a cheaper renovation or a completely new stadium elsewhere. Others defend the gamble, believing the new Camp Nou's revenue potential will eventually secure the club's future. The reality lies somewhere in between. While the project has been far more complicated and costly than expected, the payoff could still be massive if Barcelona can survive long enough to see it. How does a club with over 1.6 billion euros in debt finance a stadium renovation that could cost nearly as much? This question has been at the center of Barcelona's controversial financial strategy. The funding for the new Camp Nou comes from multiple sources, creating a complex financial arrangement that has both supporters and detractors. In 2022, Barcelona struck a landmark deal with music streaming service Spotify, selling the naming rights to the stadium for 4 years at a reported value of $310 million. The renamed Spotify Camp Nou represents a break with tradition for a club that had previously resisted corporate stadium naming. Barcelona also negotiated what they called Barcelona Financial Fair Play with La Liga, creating more flexibility for stadium investment while operating under league financial restrictions. But the core of the financing comes from loans. In March 2022, the club's members approved a financing plan for up to 1.5 billion euros, with Goldman Sachs serving as the primary lender. This massive loan is expected to be repaid through the increased revenues that the new stadium will generate. Barcelona projects that the renovated Camp Nou will increase matchday revenue by approximately 200 million euros annually through more seats, premium hospitality, and year-round events. The club estimates the loan will be repaid over 35 years, with annual payments of around 50 million euros. Critics question whether these projections are realistic, particularly given the club's history of overly optimistic financial forecasts. They worry that if revenue increases fall short of projections, the debt burden could cripple Barcelona for generations. Supporters counter that without this investment, Barcelona would inevitably fall behind rivals who have already modernized their facilities and revenue streams. They point to successful stadium renovations by clubs like Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid as evidence that short-term financial pain can lead to long-term gain. The truth is that Barcelona is taking an enormous gamble. If successful, the new Camp Nou will secure their position among football's elite for decades. If it fails, the consequences could be devastating for one of football's most storied institutions. When Barcelona finally returns to Camp Nou in May 2025, they will initially play in a stadium with a reduced capacity of around 60,000. The full 105,000-seat configuration won't be ready until 2026, and the iconic roof won't be completed until later that year. The new Camp Nou is Barcelona's greatest risk and their greatest hope. Will it pay off? Only time will tell. But one thing's clear, the new Camp Nou will be among the world's most advanced stadiums. What match would you most want to see at the new Camp Nou? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into Barcelona's ambitious stadium project, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content on football's most fascinating stories.